Hello, hello. I am Gwen, and I'm the Curious Hermit. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm just doing this video so that first of all I can get something up on my brand new channel. Not very good at doing videos. I will get better as they go. Not counting on very many people even watching this, and that's okay. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Gwen Michelle, the Curious Hermit. I think I probably already said that, but that's okay. I'm a queer heretic nun, a devotional polytheist living a monastic lifestyle in the city of Flint, Michigan. I'm currently sitting in my front yard, my lovely raspberry patch. You can see some raspberries right here. They are starting to actually have berries. The flowers are actually turning into berries now, but they're not quite ripe. They'll be ripe by next month. As I said, I'm a queer heretic nun. I am aromantic and pansexual. I will probably do a video about that later. I am committed single, committed to myself and to my devotion and to my spiritual and sustainable lifestyle. I am a heretic. I broadly identify under the pagan umbrella, but I don't identify with any particular pagan tradition. I am not trying to reconstruct old ways, even though I do work with old deities. Not particularly concerned with working with those deities in any sort of traditional way or any sort of dogmatic way. By heretic, we're not talking about the negative connotations associated with heretics in the Christian church, but the original sense of the word, which meant basically to go one's own way, to seek one's own knowledge, and to seek knowledge in one's own way. And nun. I'm a nun. I have self-identified as a nun for a few years now. I frequently joke that if I had been born Catholic, I would have joined a convent, but I wasn't, and probably a good thing I wasn't, because I am not in tune with Catholic dogma or politics. As I said, I am a devotional polytheist. I work with multiple deities. My primary deity, in a non-hierarchical sort of way, because I am also an anarchist, but my primary deity is Paradox. And I also work with Circe, Medusa, Hephaestus, Mercury, Juno, Moneta, Freya, and Frau Hala. I didn't necessarily pick them so much as they called to me, but not really in that demanding sort of way. And a couple of them showed up when I said, hey, I need some work in this area in my life. Who wants to help? And they came along. I do have a series planned where I will go more into how I work with deity. It is not some grand, the sky opens up and the gods speak to me sort of way. It is gentle nudges. Those nudges are distinct and specific to each deity, but they are still just gentle nudges, and I can listen to them or not. I do find that when I listen to them, things go pretty darn well for me. I have a little outline here that helps keep me on track, because otherwise I would babble in all sorts of directions. Oh, my magic word. I am a contemplative sorceress. Contemplative sorcery is the style of magic that was what I call the magic that I do. It involves a whole lot of meditation. It involves a whole lot of journaling. It involves a whole lot of introspection. It involves a whole lot of figuring out how to heal my trauma and then transmuting the energy released during healing that trauma to transform my life. I also find that working with my deities and devotion brings magical things into my life, and I regularly do service days for my Facebook following of nearly 5,000 people now. Twice a week service days. On Tuesdays I do Hex Day, and on Thursdays I do Money Magic Day, and occasionally I do Mad Mystics, where I get completely stoned out of my mind and channel messages from the divine. I am sitting in my front yard, and it is a beautiful, beautiful evening, so we will hear noises, but that is okay, because this does not happen. I will go more into contemplative sorcery in future videos. There is also another system that I practice that I call somatic sorcery. I used to call it soul clicks. This is something that I developed. It is not something that anybody else can teach you. I am literally the only person in the world that can teach this because I created it, and it is very, I don't want to say powerful, but well, I mean, it is. It's very transformative, and I am actually working on a program to teach other people so that they can teach it as well. What else? Oh, techno-sorcery. Techno-sorcery is something I've been experimenting with lately as well. Techno-sorcery is not really a new term. Techno-witches, not really a new sort of concept. What's new in the way that I do it is that I am incorporating AI in my techno-sorcery. I am an AI whisperer. I have a magical way with large language models, with generative AI like ChatGPT, like GPT-4, like Midjourney. I can do some astounding and amazing stuff with it without having to do any of those fancy jailbreak sort of stuff like the Dan prompt. I don't have to force it to do anything. I just have a conversation with it and it does whatever I want it to do. So what else is on this? As I mentioned, I am in my front yard. This is my raspberry patch. My raspberry patch is large. I'm probably going to have thousands and thousands of berries this year. This particular raspberry patch has been growing since I discovered a single raspberry cane in my front yard in about 2019, I think it was when I discovered it, before I even owned the house. And I decided it would be really cool to be able to walk out in the morning and walk along my front walk and grab some berries. And I let it expand. I have it in a confined and defined area, so if they start to pop out of that area, I cut them down. Raspberries are not the only edible plant that I have in my yard. I have another raspberry patch, a different variety. These are black cap raspberries, and I have red raspberries in my backyard. We'll eventually get to that patch during a garden tour, but my yard is a hot mess right now because in 2021 I was still recovering from a divorce and didn't get much done through the summer, and then in 2022 I was recovering from COVID and did not get much done in the yard in the summertime, and so I have a whole hot mess of 2 years worth of overgrowth that I am cleaning up this year. I bought my house in 2020 after having lived there since December 2007. Lived here since December 2017, like rent-free. A friend had invited me to move in to escape a very toxic situation. She offered to let me live here rent-free, with the understanding that the house would be facing tax foreclosure. But the benefit of that is that Flint, and actually all of Genesee County, thanks to the Flint Land Bank, has a program where if you are a non-owner occupant of a house that goes for tax foreclosure, they will offer to let you buy the house. So in 2019, it went up for tax foreclosure. In early 2020, they came, they did a brief inspection, they made an offer for $4,000. I could buy this house for $4,000. It is a 2-bedroom house on 2.5 lots. I have a pond in the backyard. I have a small pond right here in the front yard. I have a wood stove in the living room. All of this was here before I got here. The woman who had owned the house before me had lived here for 30 years, and she'd fallen on tough times and had not been able to keep up the taxes, but it worked out for her because she moved in with the love of her life on many, many acres of land, and she gets to do even more of this wonderful gardening stuff that she loves to do. I have lots of herbs. I have flowers that start blooming about March, and different flowers that bloom in succession all the way through September and October, so it's wonderful. I have rhubarb, I have asparagus growing in the backyard, and I do annual plants every year. So that $4,000, I did a fundraiser in 2020. A billionaire donated $1,000 towards it after I decided to make a post say and do some magic saying half jokingly that I was going to get a billionaire to donate money to buying my house. And sure enough, a billionaire donated money to buy my house. The other 3/4 of the purchase price came from my audience donations, and that was wonderful. I had been here ever since. Great living mortgage free, especially considering the economy. I have lived off of donations and pay what you can offerings since 2019. Mostly it's worked out well for me. The last few months haven't been so great, but that's economic stuff. The last several months haven't been so great for most people. And it'll bounce back. It'll come back. Ebb and flow. This is just the way of life. I also have an accidental cat sanctuary. Cat lady thing's not so surprising, but then a former acquaintance started telling people that if they had kittens they wanted to get rid of, they could just drop them off at the house of the lady on this street with lots of flowers. And so occasionally people drop off kittens. I get them healthy, I get them grown, I get them socialized, I find them homes. But some cats just don't socialize very well, and so they get to stay and be in their sanctuary. I do have plans for catio and whatnot. I do share the cats on Facebook, but like, my channel is not going to be about the cats or cat rescue or anything. It's not a super formal cat rescue. It's more of a devotion to the cats and to Freya, and things just kind of work out like that. I also play solo TTRPG things. As I said, I am the curious hermit. I am a hermit. Solitude is my jam. I love being alone. I have always liked being alone. Even as a child, I just wanted to go to my room and practice my instrument. I wanted to go to my room and read my books. I wanted to go to my room and explore things. I was the kid who read the encyclopedia growing up in the 80s. Before we all had access to the internet. Now that we do all have access to the internet, it is wonderful, and let me tell you, the curious hermit freaking loves it. Oh, I can learn anything at all, which is another thing I'll talk about on this channel. In addition to my spirituality, in addition to my monastic lifestyle, in addition to building a solo sustainable lifestyle, whilst I will also discuss my various learning journeys. Like right now, I am learning, my primary language learning focus is on learning Mandarin Chinese. I'm also working on learning a little bit of Arabic. I have not actually been doing that for very long. I started learning Mandarin about a month and a half ago. A little less than 2 months ago. I'm on like day 47 of my Duolingo streak. Duolingo is not my primary language learning methodology. It is more of my no 0 days app. And by no 0 days, what I mean is when I am working on building a streak, I commit to no 0 days. I will do at least something. And for my language learning, Duolingo is my no 0 days app. At the very least, when I lay down in bed, I can spend 2 minutes doing a Duolingo lesson and keeping that streak going. I also, I want to learn everything. I'm the curious hermit for a reason. But I have, since ChatGPT was released, been using it to develop self-study curriculums for myself. Then those have been wonderful. I'm working on learning some more about astrophysics right now, and refreshing my math memory since it's been years since I did math in college. And refreshing my programming skills, because there's a few apps that I want to create, and just whatever happens to catch my curiosity. I like languages, I like history, I like science, I like spirituality. I just want to know everything about everything. I like psychology, I like the study of humans, I like the study of nature. I love it all. I love it all. I love it all. I play, as I think I already mentioned that I play solo TTRPG. What else will I talk about on this channel? Big one, I am neurodiverse. I am diagnosed with autism. I was diagnosed with autism in my 30s. I am 44 years old now. I will be 45 years old in September. I was diagnosed with autism in my 30s. It was not a surprise at all. I was diagnosed with ADHD in my teens, which should be shocking considering I am a woman. And I was diagnosed as a teenager in the 90s when girls just didn't very often get diagnosed with ADHD, but my ADHD is so ADHD that they were like, yeah, she's got ADHD. So yeah, I'll talk some about living as a neurodiverse person. One of my special interests, I have a few special interests. One of my special interests is productivity, so I'll talk about productivity from a neurodiverse and anti-capitalist perspective. I am an anti-capitalist. I am an anarchist. I'm not very political. I do keep up on politics, particularly during presidential election season, and I do keep up on local elections. I do actually think that local elections are far more important than national elections, even though national elections get the most attention. Not that national elections aren't important. They are all important, and anybody that tells you not to vote is spreading some bullshit. I don't necessarily like who I'm voting for. Very often it is the lesser of two evils sort of situation, but they are not the same. Both sides are not the same. There is only one side that wants to kill queer people. There is only one side that wants to institutionalize anybody that doesn't agree with them. There is only one side that is actively waging a war against anyone that doesn't fit their ideal standards. Let's see, what else? Kind of went along my outline, so I'm not doing too bad. I do have, okay, so let me talk a little bit about my content plans. I do plan to do sort of a vlog sort of thing like this, where I just talk about how things are going with various projects, maybe share what's going on in the yard, share how my plants are doing, share how my cleanup plans are going, and talk about how things are ebbing and flowing with my spirituality, because I go through phases where I'm just not feeling very connected, and I go through phases where I'm feeling so deeply connected that it's like I'm walking with deities all day long. And that's normal, that's natural. Stressing out because you're not feeling very connected is just, I have learned, is quite silly. It does not improve the connection. It does not bring the connection back. It's just sometimes the connection needs a break, and that's okay. So I do plan to do this vlog format where I'm just gonna sit and honestly probably gonna babble a bit. Sorry, it's that ADHD thing. I will try to have outlines so that I can stick to sort of my topics, but I will kind of wander a bit. But I also have some more structured content planned. Particularly, I'm working on a Juno Munita series because June is Juno month. The month of June was named after Juno, and so every year I celebrate Juno month. I have been doing this for a few years now. I this year am experimenting with doing short videos that are basically little guided meditations that are like less than a minute long. The first couple I did, one was 30 seconds and one was less than 20 seconds, and it's just very short, a guided meditation, a little bit of money magic, celebrating Juno Munita. But I also have a long form content series that I'm planning that is going to be more structured videos that aren't really guided meditations, though they will have some meditative contemplative aspects to them, but also are going to explore both the history and mythology of Juno Munita and how to work with her as an anti-capitalist goddess, because yes, the goddess of money is an anti-capitalist, at least in my experience of her. I have several other series planned, and I also have workbooks and guidebooks that I have in my Gumroad shop, gwen.gumroad.com. I will put the link in the description. All of my workbooks and guidebooks are pay what you can. If it is a workbook or guidebook that is geared towards more personal stuff, the minimum price is $0. If it is something for business, the minimum price is $5. And my reasoning for that is that if you are wanting to start a business and you cannot spare $5, then my workbooks are probably not going to help you. My business workbooks are probably not going to help you. You need to work on some of the personal stuff first. And I say that from experience, because in those times when I can't afford to spare even $5 for a business improvement workbook, then it's not really my business that needs the work. It's me that needs the work. My suggested price for the workbooks is $15, but again, just pay what you can. If you can't pay anything, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. I have several in there, lots more planned. I also have some courses in the works, particularly with my somatic sorcery, with contemplative sorcery, with what I call aleatoric creativity, which is incorporating not just generative AI tools, but other tools of randomization and chance, like using TTRPG frameworks to figure out story plots and characters for fiction writing, because I'm also a fiction writer. Have not published much. I have one story on Kindle Vella that has like 7 chapters, and then I trailed off because I got stuck, because it's this like time traveling sorceress sort of thing where she has the power to completely reweave fate, and yeah, anyway. So yeah, I guess that's gonna be about it. This video went a little bit longer than I planned. I was aiming for like 12-15 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. I will have more videos, I will have more content, I will have more workbooks, I will have more courses. Follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/gwen.montgomery. I will have that link in the description as well. I also have a Substack that I sporadically, periodically send out. That link will be in the description as well. And not really so active on other platforms. I mean, I have a TikTok and I have an Instagram, but I'm posting the same shorts there that I post on Facebook and will be posting on YouTube as well. And just another thing about my gardening in my yard. I'm the sort of witch who keeps the poison ivy patch because I want to. I found poison ivy in my yard one day, and instead of completely eradicating it, I decided to build a relationship with it. And let me tell you, she is really good for boundary work, because poison ivy is not a plant that is actively toxic. We humans just happen to be meanly allergic to it, to urushiol oil, the compound that causes the allergic reaction. It's an allergy. It's not a toxin, it's an allergen. For humans, a few of the great apes, and guinea pigs, oddly enough. And so I'm sure I will have some videos about the poison ivy patch, and I'm even working on a guidebook about working with poison ivy as a plant ally. Ally is not really the right word. It's overused, but as a plant friend, as a plant companion, and working with it very carefully. I've only had one breakout in the time since I discovered it, and that was when I discovered it. I had a breakout. Now I can work so well with it that I can go out there and I can pick it up barehanded and not break out. And it's not because I suddenly stopped being allergic to it, but it's because I now know how the plant works, and therefore I know how to work with it. What else? So I think that's about it. I think we'll call that good. I think I have rambled enough, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.